You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, presented by the Only One Media Group. This is the people's choice for quality interviews, celebrities and special guests. Hosted by Demetrius Dini Reynolds. Call in to join the mix at 701-801-9813. For the complete archive of episodes, visit onlyonemediagroup.com and be sure to like us on Facebook at Vigilantes Radio. We welcome all. Enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds. Enjoy the show.
Hey, welcome to another awesome episode of Vigilantes Radio. I am your host, dini-mussolini, and I just want to welcome all of you guys to our show today. We have over 17,000 of you guys in our chat room, on the phone lines, the browser, Google Hangouts, Skype, all the plugins that we use to broadcast the show. You guys are filling them up. Come on in. You're welcome. So definitely, we have a very special guest this afternoon, or morning, or even night, depending on what part of the country or the world that you're in right now. So, yeah, just a simple hello to you, and how are you doing? Fantastic day, I can tell you. So, I want you guys to get started right away. Once you make the decision, once you set a goal for yourself, start acting on it immediately. That is how momentum is created. Don't move on to anything else until you have committed some action to your goal. And then follow through. Keep the momentum going by taking consistent action. Your initial determination will get you started, and your discipline to act consistently will get you all the way there. Don't stop, or it will take that much more effort to get started again. You're already on the way, so keep going. You've invested your time and effort and your hopes, and the investment will pay off handsomely when you hold it until maturity by taking consistent action. With commitment, perseverance, anything is possible. Take that from me, Dini-Mussolini. That is my word, and word is bond.
You're live in the mix. Let's get this started.
Yo, hello, and welcome to another awesome episode of Inside the Music, or the book, or film, or even the business, where we dive into the minds of the people who create these marvelous things. It feels so good to be back with you guys once again. Big ups to my folks who are indigos, crystalline, or the starseeds, for my Vigilantes audience family, for my hooligans, and shout out to my people who are vegetarian or vegans. If you're in the struggle like me, we are averaging over 37,000 live listeners, and we've been at this for 5 solid years. I appreciate to all you guys who've been rocking with the kid on this journey, and we are still evolving, baby. It is all because of you, most definitely. We are the people who have dedicated their lives to music, spirituality, business, literature, art, films, and research in every aspect. And we want to allow you an opportunity to tell your story. Man, we've had celebrities on our show, from Grammy Award-winning artists, nominees, to actors, comedians, CEOs, technology revolutionaries, visual artists, from authors to professors, and vampires. Or people who think they're vampires. It doesn't matter who you are or where you come from. Come on our show and talk to me. So check it out to book your interview or to appear on my other show called Skeptics. Email me at vradio@onlyonemediagroup.com, and that's V as in Victor. We hope to get the stories behind these unique people and give them a chance to tell their truth to us and the universe. That is Vigilantes Radio sole purpose. You know the number to dial, 701-801-9813. Share that number with your buddy right now and tell them to tune in to connect with us or our guests, or you can hop in the mix directly from our website, which is onlyonemediagroup.com. Right from the homepage, you can slap that go live button and you'll be here live in the mix and in the chat room with all of us. So feel free to shoot over some questions to ask our guests while they are here, but only as time permits. Sometimes my guests and I talk entirely too much. And as always, all episodes are available for free download, and you can grab them from either Spreaker.com/only1mediagroup, iTunes, Player.fm, YouTube, any app from the Google Play or iTunes Store, or over at our website. And that goes for every single episode that we've ever aired.
Well, today's interview is the Patrick-Stalinski interview, and I'm your host again, Dini-Mussolini, just in case you guys have forgotten my name that quick. I know you guys haven't, but just for sakes, okay? So it's on days like this and at times like these where I can take a moment and really appreciate why we do what we do over here at Vigilantes Radio. It wasn't always that I was contacted by PR, bands, interesting people and artists from across the globe to talk about music, books, business, film, faith. And when it happens, I just can't help but to take that time to just pause and smile and remember that this is really what it's all about. The human connection and that ability for both the internet and people's ideas and creations to unite us all. So with that, let's go ahead and welcome Mr. Patrick-Stalinski to our show. Hey, man, you're now live in the midst with all of us. How's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing great as well.
Great.
And so, how's the weather back home in California? I'm not there right now, but how's the weather out there?
Well, the weather here is great right now. We're having a beautiful sunshiny day, and it's early morning yet, so I don't know, it's around 65 degrees and slowly warming up. And I live right up against the mountain, so I live kind of outside of the fray of the big city, up against the mountains where, you can walk up the trails or just go outside and have a nice cup of coffee and listen to the birds.
Wow.
It's great being where I'm at.
Yeah, sounds like paradise.
It is.
Definitely. So, man, hello and welcome to our show. We're very excited to have you with us all the way from California. So there are all kinds of things I'm looking forward to asking you about. So we'll get there. So take a moment here to introduce yourself to all of us. Tell us a little bit about your background and some of your latest projects that you've released.
Okay, yeah. I have been singing ever since I was in high school and in the Detroit area. I grew up in the Detroit area, and I always loved singing. All my adult life, I've always been in some form or fashion involved in singing. Classically, I never thought that I was ever going to become a classical singer. That was like the last thing on my mind. But when I was back in Detroit, he needed somebody to sing on an opera for Michigan Opera Theater because one of the tenors had dropped out. And I never sang classical music, but they knew that I could learn quickly, and they asked me if I'd be interested in singing it, and I refused it like several times before they finally convinced me to do it. I said, okay, I'll do it this one time, but after that, I'm not ever going to do classical music ever again. And it was funny because once that I got up on that stage and in front of those people and heard that orchestra, it was like, oh man, I didn't want to do anything else. It was like, This is great. I love being up there. And so I stayed with them for about 4 years doing opera in residence programs. when they would go on tour during the summer. I would do the opera in residence programs with them. And then, right now, I am working on a very special project. It's actually going to be a reoccurring concert that I'm putting together with a lovely lady from Norway. Her name is Bodil Victoria Arnesen. And her and I are creating a beautiful concert series to tour around North America called From Norway with Love. And it's going to be awesome. We're going to have, a little bit of comedy, a little bit of bantering back and forth, and also just a lot of music. We're going to have classical and also crossover, jazz and pop. It's going to be very, it's going to be very interesting as we get this more and more developed. I have a booking agent called Casting New Lives, and so they're going to get us booked. They have other people on there, like Dean Martin's daughter and Donnie Most are part of the people that you can book through their website. And it's, just going to be a lot of fun to be doing this with them and being associated with such a great company as Casting New Lives.
That sounds very awesome. So, you grew up in Detroit. How did you migrate over to California?
Well, that's
why should I say?
Well, that's kind of an interesting story. My ex-wife and I ended up here through. We were working for John Denver. I owned a printing and advertising firm in Detroit, and we started doing some printing work for John Denver when he was alive. And after his plane crashed, because we were supposed to move out to Aspen, after his plane crashed, there was a person that was like a patron of John Denver's that supported him a lot. She asked us to move to Tucson, Arizona, and create a thing that was just like John Denver's Windstar company that he had, that was an environmental company, except this one was going to be dedicated to children. So we went there, and we were in Tucson for 10 years, and it was really good. The whole experience in Tucson was great. I made a lot of friends. I sang a lot. I created a lot of interest in my singing. In fact, it was funny, when I first started to sing in Tucson, I was singing at churches. And when I was singing, the ministers or the priest or whoever I was singing for, they would always come up to me and they would say before the beginning of a service or a mass, they're going to say, "Wait until they hear you," because they were always amazed at when I was singing. They were always amazed at how much I would put into my songs, put meaning into my songs and everything. So I was always very happy in Tucson. And then what happened is that my wife at the time had gotten her degree in business, so we ended up moving to Los Angeles for her career. And when we got here, one of my friends that I met while working for John Denver was Richard Hatch, who he was the star, or one of the stars, of Battlestar Galactica back in the day. He played Captain Apollo, and he's now deceased. But I remember I asked him when we first got here, I'm like, okay, so how do I break into the music scene here in Los Angeles? And he's like, well, all I can tell you is that the way that everybody does stuff here in Los Angeles is that you have to start doing acting. And I'm like, okay, well, you know what? If I have to do it, then that's what I'm going to do. So, it's been a long process, but as I was listening to your message before I came on, it's very true. You have to keep on moving forward. You can't let anything discourage you, and you have to just keep on going. You can't give up.
That's right.
You can't ever give up doing this, because the ones that you do, you're like yesterday's news. You'll be forgotten.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So you have to keep on moving forward all the time.
That's very true. We have like a lot of beginners, musicians, actors who listen to the show, and I really think they needed to hear that, what you just said, because it's absolutely true in this business, even if you want to get into this business. Now, if you're independent, things are a little slower, but if you really want to make this your career, your craft, you definitely have to stay on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really it. Same thing like with taking acting classes or voice lessons. You never think that you know it all, because you can always learn something. There's always something to be learned in this business. Even singing. I have a friend that sings for Metropolitan Opera Theater. The Met, back in New York. And we were talking one day, and he was talking about going to a voice lesson. And I was laughing. I'm like, oh, you still do voice lessons? And he's like, well, of course I do. He's like, why, don't you? And I'm like, no. I'm like, I don't do voice lessons anymore, And he's like, well, get your butt back into a voice coach, because he's like, as long as you're singing and you want to do it professional, he's like, you have to have people listening to you. You have to do that. He's like, you can't do it on your own. He's like, you just have to have people that are going to be helping you and working with you all the time. Yeah.
Right on. So, Patrick, tell us about that moment in time that you saw someone live or heard something that moved your soul to the notion that music was something that you just had to pursue in your life. Who or what was the inspiration to get you started singing?
Well, when I was young, when I was, just a teenager, I would sit down with my grandma. My grandma, she loved to watch the variety shows that were on back in the day. And I would sit down with her, and I would watch the different variety shows and watch the different acts. And I always really liked watching, like there was Red Skelton, and there was Jackie Gleason, and all the back in the day. And I still like to watch the reruns when I get a chance to. And I think that the thing that I like to watch most now is like America's Got Talent, because it kind of reminds me, it's very reminiscent of the old talent show days, where you watch the talent. Some of it would be good, some of it wouldn't be so great, but right. You learn a lot. You learn a lot from watching that. And actually, for America's Got Talent, I'm kind of on one of those backup lists if they need me. So I'm on one of those backup lists for them. One time they had called me up. They told me that they wanted me to be in Texas in like 4 hours. And I'm like, I can't be there in no 4 hours. I mean, you want to give me a day's notice, I can be there, but I can't do it in 4 hours. So, but he told me that they were going to leave me on the list for future.
Nice.
And then I think that after that, when I started, started singing for Michigan Opera Theater when I got older, and just that feeling of having the orchestra surrounding you and feeling that when you're in front of a big orchestra, you can feel it just go through your bones and fill your spirit. And it's just such an unimaginable feeling that you get when you are in front of a big orchestra like that, and I think that's the thing that I love the most, is just that feeling of being there. You almost feel like you're soaring above everything, If you get caught too much of it in the moment, you'll all of a sudden you'll be thinking, okay, what's my first word? What's my first note? Right before you start, because you're so caught up in everything. But it never fails. The Lord always brings it to me. I always find that first note, find that first word.
Right. So how about acting? How did that come about?
Well, the acting stuff, like I said, it came about by my friend Richard Hatch. And the very first movie that I did when I was here was called To Sing a Prayer. And when I was on that show, I remember I walked in, and I didn't know what I was doing. But when I first got there, I didn't know the terminology. I didn't know anything. And when I first walked in, the first person I says, "Where do I go?" And they said, "You go over here and go talk to that person." And when I walked in and I talked to this other person, they said, "Hi, I'm the AD, and who are you?" And I'm like, "Oh, my name's Patrick-Stalinski. I'm here to do this thing." And they're like, "Oh, are you one of the main actors?" And I'm like, "No, not that I know of." I'm like, I'm just here. And they said, "Oh, you're background talent." I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Well, you're in the wrong area. You need to go, way over on the other side of the room." And that was a lot of fun. Just that very first experience, getting to learn the ropes and talking to people and having the opportunity to really mix together with people, and seeing how the camaraderie of all the actors, how we all get along together, and and if you have a good crew, you'll get along with the crew too. But sometimes the crews, they work so hard that they're not interested in talking to you, and they just want to get the job done and get out of there. But that's how I got into it, through Richard Hatch recommending that I do it. I applied for my first gig after he told me I got it within a few days, and I've been doing it ever since. Nice. And I've been very fortunate because I've been getting a few speaking roles. I've been getting a few speaking roles, and also a lot of featured roles as a background actor, so I'm happy.
Yeah, nice. All right. So, can you tell us about one of your best music-related memories from us?
One of my best related music memories. Let me think about that for a second. I think that one of my best music-related memories is when I was up in front of the symphony, and I had gotten my first solo part, and you're standing there, and you're waiting to start, and you hear the symphony warming up. I'm talking about a big symphony. I'm talking about like a 40-piece symphony. And you're listening to them warming up, and you're getting warmed up, and the excitement, the anticipation, the nervousness of getting up there because you want to go up there and do your very best. All right. I think that all of that's because now when I get up in front of people, generally I don't get nervous because I'm really just present in that moment. I just did a few concerts with Bodil in Norway about 3 weeks ago. And when I did those concerts with her, we taped them, and people were remarking on how in my element that I looked like I was just enjoying the heck out of it. I really do. I enjoy just being there. If you work hard and you do everything that you need to do before the concert, so if you're prepared for it, you really have the ability to just sit back and enjoy it, And if something happens, something happens.
Wow. All right, so right now we can see your social media in places where your music is available. But of course, the internet is like a wide open world out there. And for anybody listening right now, we do have those links in the description of this episode. So when you clicked on Go Live, you saw all the links. So you can get everything pertaining to Patrick Stalinski right there in one place. Yeah, I did all the work for you guys. It just made it super easy, okay?
So, that's great.
The internet stuff never really stops for artists trying to make it and stay in the public view. And if you ask me, it's almost like a 9-to-5 job. You got to tweet this, post that, Snapchat this, Instagram that, whole lot of marketing. But what are some of your favorite social media platforms to use that fans can reach you directly?
Well, they can reach me directly through patrick-stalinski-music.com. That's, my name with music after it, .com. And that's the best way that you can get a hold of me, through private email. Or the other way is if you go to my fan page, because I try to answer everybody that ever contacts me. It's just Patrick Stalinski -tenor, and you can go there and you can be on my fan page, and you can message me, or through Instagram, of course. You can go to Patrick Stalinski on Instagram, and I answer anybody that sends me messages. Sometimes I'll get maybe 50, 60 messages, per day. And, I might not answer everything with a long, write a lot, but I will at least acknowledge that you're there and honor your presence on my page. I'm always about trying to honor everyone and trying to make sure that everybody knows that I hear them and that I see them. I love people. I love being in front of people. I love to interact with people. Whenever I'm on a movie set or anything like that, when people see me coming on, they're like, "All right, Patrick's here." So it's fun to be. It's fun for me to be able to have connections with people and to interact with people, because that's where it's at. I'm not here. I'm not a vacuum. I'm not living in a vacuum where I just want to be left alone. If you write me, I'll write you back, I promise.
Sounds nice. So, what's the training regimen like behind the scenes?
Well, for me, usually I get up. Today I didn't, but usually I get up at 7 o'clock in the morning, and I start with my warm-ups. I do my warm-ups, my lip trills, my tongue rolls. I do all that. I found that the tongue rolls are actually very important. I learned that. That's something that I just knew from Bodil when I was with her in Norway, is that the tongue rolls, that is very important to do that because it works your whole entire tongue from the front to the back. And it really is very helpful in getting your voice to wake up. You know, a lot of times I'll talk about that, how your voice, it needs to wake up. You know, your voice is almost like this other person that lives within you, you know.
Right on.
So, but I mean, you know, practice. So I get up at 7 o'clock. I'll warm up for about an hour and a half. Then after I'm done getting all warmed up, then I will take maybe about a 10-minute break and let everything settle, and then I'll start to practice. And I'll practice with my lowest songs, the lowest songs that I sing in my repertoire. I'll start with those, and I will slowly crank it up to some of the ones that are higher in the voice. I'm a natural tenor, so I can get way past C. I can get up to an E, singing to a high E. And I'm very fortunate that I'm a natural tenor. Most tenors can't get up that high, or they got to work really hard at it. And I've never had to work that hard at it. In fact, my voice coach back when I lived in Michigan, I would have his morning. I would be his first session in the morning. So I was there usually at around 8 o'clock in the morning, and he would always, he'd start me into singing and warming up, and he's like, Patrick. He's like, I'm just amazed at how well that you can sing first thing in the morning. He's like, you actually make me sick, because he's like, I have to work at this so hard. And he's like, you just can float the stuff out there, float those notes out there like it's like second nature to you. I'm like, well, I don't know. I mean, it's just the way that I am. I can just sing that way. That's all.
I'm gonna try that R, the rolling of the tongue thing. I didn't know that, and I do know the.
Well, when you're doing that R, you need to make sure that you get that. You need to make sure that you're thinking forward in your face, because you can take that R and put it back, but if you take that R and you put it out in front of your face, you're actually creating better resonance for your vocals. Bodil, when I was talking to her when I was in Norway, she's like, American singers have a tendency to vocalize, and they don't really get it out the front. She's like, when you watch singers from Europe, she's like, they have a tendency to sing more in front of their face. So it's more understandable. They use their mouth a lot more, but the thing is that when they're using their mouth more, they still keep that formation of a vertical feeling within their music. So she says it's completely different, and she's like, it really will help you. And she was right on. She was spot on with that, where it really does help when you're using that R and rolling that R and trying to keep it out in front of it. And it's just amazing how well that works.
All right. Thank you for the pointers. Try those.
No problem.
All right, guys. After the music break, it'll be time for our usual tradition. It is called the hot seat. That's where we heat up Mr. Patrick's seat and make him sweat a bit, but he's a professional. I doubt he sweats. But so our fans love this part of the segment, of course, along with the actual interview. But the audience will get to hear Patrick-Stalinski provide us with some vocals. Maybe he'll do poetry, inspirational speech, freestyle rap, joke, stories, even a live instrument. You never know what these creative minds and vessels will produce in the spotlight. And today we'll find out if Patrick-Stalinski has what it takes to be put on the spot, a test of his true artistry, and maybe even some hidden talents. But for right now, we have a song by Mr. Patrick-Stalinski. It's one of my favorite all-time songs. And it's maybe because I'm from the South, This is just one of our anthems, depending on how you were raised. So this one definitely touched me. And here it is, Amazing Grace.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've known less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. When we first begun.
All right, and we are back. What an awesome, I don't know, is that a rendition? Maybe not a rendition, but a very, very, very beautiful version by Patrick-Stalinski. Wow. Made my morning, well, afternoon actually. Definitely. So let's talk about reality. Look around you. What do you see? Is that reality? Is it? What is reality, you may ask Dini? Is reality limited to just what you can see, touch, and hear? I'll always say definitely not. You see only the things that you look for. You hear only the things that you listen to. Reality is much, much more. True reality consists of all possibilities. Reality is everything that is and everything that could possibly be. What you see is just what you notice, the things you tune into. Reality is everything. It has no physical limit. It's not intellectual. Well, I won't say that. It doesn't have an intellectual limit or a spiritual limit for that fact. It is anything you decide it can be. Yet we get stuck in thinking that there's only one reality are only one way reality can be. That holds us back. It puts us in a trance where the only things possible are the things that already are. And that limits our options. The universe is overflowing with abundance if we will look for it. At any moment in time, an infinite number of possibilities are open to you. And then the next moment, another infinite number of possibilities are there. You sail each day on a sea of possibilities. You can change direction at any moment you choose and go wherever you want. Take that from me, dini-mussolini. That is my word, and word is bond. But for right now, let's bring back the man of the moment, Patrick-Stalinski. You're back live with us and in our hot seat. What kind of treat will we get today?
Well, whenever I'm singing, I always analyze the words. And one of my favorite songs that I've always liked was one that Debbie Boone sang. And just listening to the words, they're inspiring, and I love just the way that they flow, because the thing is that when we're doing it, at the end of the day, it's not about us. We are nothing if we don't have each other. I can't be anything if I don't have you. I can't be anything if I don't have an audience. So treating everybody with love, honor, and respect is always, the thing that I always believe in, and a lot of times people nowadays, they don't understand that. They don't understand that because we live in a very self-centered, it's all about me kind of a world now. And we need each other. We can't just be me. It just doesn't work, especially for musicians and entertainers. It's not about me. It's about all of us. So the words that I would like to say are you light up my life. So it's so many nights I sit by my window waiting for someone to sing their song. So many dreams I keep deep inside me, belong in this dark. But now you've come along, and now you light up my life. You give me hope to carry on. You light up my days. You fill my nights with song and hope. And I think that's what it's all about. It's all about that kind of stuff. It's not about me. It's about you. It's about everything. And I thank God for you, because this is a wonderful platform for me to be able to come out here and tell people about myself, and for me to share myself, and talk about my concert series that I'm putting together with Bodil from Norway. And it's just all very inspiring to me to be able to do all this, and I'm very grateful for you.
Thank you. We're grateful for you and your talent. Wow.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I think that it's very important, for all musicians and all actors to treat each other with respect. We're all here for each other. We're all trying our very best. If you don't just look at somebody and say, well, I'm not, I'm better than that, because you know what, we've all been at that low spot in our life. We've all are trying to attain that high spot in our life, and be grateful for it. Be grateful for the experience. Be grateful for the road, because it's not all going to be all roses and all fun, no matter how big that you get. Because I've seen the big actors. And I see that what happens with them is that the bigger you get, the more people you're responsible for. You're not just responsible for yourself. You get responsible for more people, because there's a lot of people that are depending on you to make their paycheck. So, I mean, and I've seen something like, I forget which group that it was, but his payroll for a month was like $50,000. He was responsible for $50,000 to generate $50,000 a month for all these people that he had on his payroll. I'm like, wow, that's an awesome responsibility.
It is.
Yep.
Art is very different from like running a retail store where you have products to sell. You have necessities that people need and want every day. But when it comes to art, that's not really guaranteed every day.
Absolutely not.
And that goes back to what you said earlier about staying on your craft. You have to stay, consistent with releases, appearances, and doing what is necessary to sell yourself, because you are the ultimate product, right?
Absolutely. And that's what, that's where a lot of people, when I'm, because I post a lot of stuff about myself up on Facebook and all that kind of stuff. And, people that know me from back in Detroit, they're like, oh, well, he's all full of himself. And it's like, no, I'm the only person that can advertise me at this point, because I really don't have a PR person. Now I'm starting to get PR people. But, I mean, at the time, if you don't promote yourself, if you don't put yourself out there and take the risk of being out there in front of people, you'll never get any place. My acting coach, who always tells me, she always tells me what she's like, she's like, you need to get out there, you need to network, you need to go to all these different things, because if you don't, she's like, nobody's going to find you sitting on your couch. She's like, her name is Terry Messina, and she's my acting coach, and I love her dearly, because she really makes me get out there and makes me push to make sure that I get, push myself to make sure that I get the exposure that I need. And she does a lot of great things. She helps me with my IMDb and with my other websites. She does that for people, to help them get themselves out there. She's a great actress, and she's a great friend, and I'm grateful to have her in my life also.
Definitely. Wise words.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, we definitely appreciated your time today, Patrick-Stalinski, and we appreciate your music. We'll keep an eye out for you. You're welcome back anytime.
Okay, great. Yeah, as soon as I have my concerts ready, we're working on them. We should have them ready for March. And I will have Bodil here, and maybe we can come back on your show and talk about our concerts together.
All right. Sounds nice.
All righty.
Thank you, my Vigilantes family, as always, for checking out my podcast over here at Vigilantes Radio. All episodes are available for free download, and you can grab that from either Spreaker.com/Only One Media Group, iTunes, YouTube, any app that's on a Google Play or iTunes store, or our website. And that goes from every single episode that we've ever aired. If you'd like to request music or a particular guest or send something for me to play, email it to theradio@onlyonemediagroup.com. If it's music, please label it by artist and title. Here's my disclaimer. We are genre-free, we do not judge, and we absolutely do not base our opinions on hearsay, but facts alone. And actually, you can scratch all of that, because all of my opinions are always right. That's the bottom line. This is my show, so deal with it. Nah, just kidding. On behalf of myself, Dini-Mussolini, I appreciate all you guys for tuning in, either afterwards or live with us. Spread the word, because sharing is caring. We stepped up our game just for you guys and our guests to make sure that you have the best experience here on our show. Be sure to connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, as well as Spreaker. We always follow back. That is the number one rule. Okay, well, just remember to be yourself and be absolutely great at just doing that. Avoid being too comfortable, because you're messing with your potential when you do that. Peace and have a good night.
You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, the people's choice for quality interviews, art, music, and hot topics. Hosted by Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds of the duo No Longer the Hero. All episodes of this podcast are available for free download at www.onlyonemediagroup.com. This is a Seventh Sign Regime Rebirth Worldwide Syndicate exclusive.